In this video, we're going to talk about diseases or disorders that are inherited following an autosomal recessive pattern. So first of all, we'll dissect the name. We have autosomal. This means the disease or the disorder is caused by a gene that is found on one of the autosomes, which means chromosome 1 through 22. So basically, this is not caused by a gene on the sex chromosome. It's caused by a gene on one of the other regular chromosomes. And then the fact that it's recessive, it means that the allele or the version of the gene that causes the problem is the recessive version of the gene. So in general genetics terms, it's the lowercase letter of the pair that is the one that is abnormal or not functional or whatever. So these are conditions that are caused by recessive alleles that are found on the autosomes. All right, so we have a little pedigree shown up here with a father here who is big N, little n. So we're going to use the letter N for this disease. It could be any disease that is caused by a recessive pattern of inheritance. There are multiple. We're going to talk about 3 specific ones in class, but for now we're just talking in general. So the father has a big N and a little n. So up here I'm going to write, so the big N allele is the normal allele. This is making the correct protein to help you function. Whatever the gene is for, it's working good. And then the little n is the mutated allele, which is the allele that causes the problem. I'm running out of space here. So basically it means it makes a bad protein, a protein that isn't working right for some reason. Maybe it's not folded up right, maybe it's not making enough of it, maybe there's a nonsense mutation. For some reason, this version of the gene is not making the correct protein. All right, so if we look at the father up here, obviously he's diploid, he's got 2 versions of the N gene. One version is the normal allele, that's this one here. His other version is the little n, which is the mutated version. But because he's got at least one good version right here, that big N, he is making enough of the protein, he's going to be fine. All right, so he's a normal male. He's not got the disease, but he does carry the mutated allele, but he might not know it. He could be completely healthy because he's got this big N, all right? Now, the mother is the same. She has one good version of the gene and one mutated version of the gene. But because she has a good version of the gene, she's going to be okay. She is making the protein she needs. So she might also not know that she has this allele hiding in her genome. All right. So if these 2 people have children, you can see the pedigree on the left. This is the pedigree. And then this on the right is the Punnett square. So let's look at the Punnett square first on the right. The mother can make eggs that has the big N, the good allele, or the little n, the messed up allele. The dad can make sperm that has the good allele or the messed up allele. Right? They can both make either one. And at random, an egg and the sperm are going to meet. This individual has the good allele and the good allele. They're making tons of good protein. They're going to be completely functional and fine. This person's got the good allele from dad, the messed up allele from mom, but overall, because they've got one good allele, they're going to be fine. This person also has one good allele, so they're going to be fine. But this person in the bottom right got a messed up allele from dad and a messed up allele from mom. They don't have any of the big N version here, so they cannot make whatever protein it is they need to make. So they're going to have the full-blown disease of whatever this disease is. So these 2 mother and father, this pair, they're both normal. They both don't have this disease. They might not even know that they carry the disease. When they have kids, there's a 1 in 4 chance that any one child will end up with the 2 little n's and would have the disease. So all these kids are going to be normal, and this one is going to be affected with the disease. Now, this pedigree is a little misleading because it sort of implies that the first child will be like this, and the second child will be like this, and the third will be like this, and the fourth will be like this. And if they have 4 kids, they're going to get 1 of each. That's not the case. Right? Any one kid can come out any one of these ways. So if they have 4 kids, they could have all 4 kids and they could all be fine. And this situation could never happen. It's like tossing a coin, like flipping a coin, a 4-sided coin. So it's kind of like a probability game here. But this is the pattern you tend to see with diseases that are inherited in a recessive manner on the autosomes. All right. So we're going to learn about 3 of these diseases. So the autosomal recessive diseases that we're going to learn about are, number 1, cystic fibrosis. This is a disease of mucus production, which tends to have its biggest impacts in lung function. We'll talk about why. We're also going to talk about Tay-Sachs disease. This is a disease of, it's supposed to be an apostrophe, a disease of metabolizing lipids. It's a fatal disease that affects brain development in infants. And the last one is sickle cell disease. And this is a disease that affects the hemoglobin molecules in red blood cells and has multiple impacts because red blood cells are misshapen and it can cause all kinds of impacts through multiple systems in your body. But all these diseases are only affect the person if they get 2 of the little alleles. So if we say the F gene is cystic fibrosis, the individual has to be little f, little f. For Tay-Sachs, they have to be little t, little t. For sickle cell, they have to be little s, little s. That's how they're going to suffer from the disease. Someone who is big S, little s is a carrier. Someone who is big T, little t is a carrier. Someone who is big F, little f is a carrier. But this person doesn't have the disease. They are normal. And they might not even know that they're a carrier.